What numbers matter most in your real estate business? I'm here to tell you that today we are going to talk about exactly what those numbers are, because here's what happens. I've been in real estate for almost 13 years, and one of the complaints that I hear all the time is, I don't know what to focus on. I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what numbers matter most. And what I find absolutely fascinating is that the majority of real estate agents that I ask at any level, if I ask them, how much business did you do this week? They're like, I don't know. There is so much power in the numbers. I have been tracking numbers for years, and it's one of the ways that I was able to grow my business year after year after year. My name is AJ Ackerman with Elevated Agents, and today we're talking about knowing your numbers. Before we dive deep into knowing your numbers, one of the things that I love most, and this is why we start with numbers, because it's all about truth. Numbers don't lie. They'll tell you the whole story. They don't tell you how good they're doing. They don't tell you how bad you're doing. It's not right or wrong. They're not judging. They're not blaming. They're just telling you the truth. And when you understand your numbers and you understand your truth, you can make better decisions on how to grow your business. You can make better decisions on what you need to do to improve. Are you investing money in the best opportunity, or are you wasting money? Numbers are going to be the key to helping you out, and it's about financial goals. There are 5 main areas to help you create clarity, growth, and success in your real estate business. The first one is financial goals. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. It's about knowing your numbers and your financial goals. Now, the way that we coach, the way that we teach is through clarity, growth, and success. And so I want to make sure that you understand the powerful questions. We're going to do a lot of powerful questions today. And so please be sure to open up your ears, to open up your heart, get something to write with, because I'm about to blow your mind. We're going to be here for the next, 20, 30, 40 minutes. I'm not sure how long this is going to go, but I'm going to make sure you leave here with value, that you leave here with something that you can implement right away. We're going to make you think, we're going to help you act, and we're going to also give you a couple things that you can do. That's where clarity, growth, and success come into play. And so clarity is all about the vision. It's about, where do you want to be in your real estate business? What's the magic number? When I first got into real estate, my magic number was making 6 figures a year. And that's one of the numbers we're going to focus on today. But I promise you, by the end of this call, you'll have a spreadsheet. You'll have something that you can do to figure out, what does it take to make $100,000 a year, $250,000 a year, even 7 figures a year. Because when you know your numbers, you wake up on Monday morning and you think to yourself, I know exactly what I need to do this week in order to build my business. So many people wake up on Monday and they take all day, all week, just to figure out what's most important. So we need to have a vision, a clear understanding of where you want to go in your business, and then we can talk about how you're going to get there. Growth is the second piece, and growth is all about, who do you need to become? This is where training, coaching, mentoring, this is where the learning process happens. It's helping you become the person that's earning the income that you want, that's helping you live the lifestyle that you want to live. And third is growth. And growth is all about success work. It's about, what are you willing to do? What are you going to do to help you to get to where you want to go? Now, I'm going to give you a little secret today. I'm going to give you the 5 areas to help you create the clarity, growth, and success. Today, we're only going to be talking about financial goals, but the second area is your why and your purpose. Third is all about relationships. Fourth is entrepreneurship, because guess what? You're an entrepreneur. And number 5 is about experiencing your day. And that's where the real magic happens. Today, we're getting started on the journey with financial goals. But what does financial goals even mean? Like, what should the vision be? Yes, it's easy to think about how much money you want to make, but I'm here to tell you that your purpose is going to be a lot deeper than that. And we talk about that more in your why and your purpose. But what does your financial freedom actually look like? You know, it's interesting because a lot of people haven't defined how they want to feel. What financial freedom looks like. What does it give you? What are the things that you want to have? And so this is our first powerful question today, but we're going to do a little bit of a scoring right now. Like, I want to find out, where are you right now in your financial goals, in knowing your numbers, and what's possible? what we're going to do is I'm going to go over a few statements, and I want you to rate yourself. How are you doing 0 to 10? 0, you're absolutely horrible. Now, you're not a 0, but 0 means like you're absolutely doing horrible. You're falling apart. You don't even know what I'm talking about. 10 means you're absolutely crushing it. And so just base this on how you feel. There's no right or wrong to this. This is just, you're just checking in. You're checking in to say, how am I doing right now? And where could I improve? So the first statement is, I am financially stable. I have a plan for my financial future, and I'm ready for new opportunities. See, this is a beautiful place. Like, are you ready for new opportunities? Do you have a plan for your financial future? You know, I like to always say that you want to begin with the end in mind. And if you don't have a clear target, a clear vision, a clear understanding of where you want to be, then how are you going to get there? How are we going to devise a plan and help you take it step by step by step? Because what are you going to do once you are making the money? You know, there's a reason that the majority of people that win the lottery end up worse off, is because they haven't become the person that they need to be in order to handle millions of dollars, right? And so we want to be thinking of these things. The second one is, I know my numbers and understand what actions and skills it will take to achieve my dream lifestyle. I want you to focus on two big words here: actions and skills. What are the specific action steps that are most important? You know, you want to hit the most important numbers, you need to do the most important activities. And this is, so many agents get this wrong because so many of us invest so little time in building our business, and then we wonder why it's not growing. Are you having the conversations? Are you going on the appointments? Are you closing the deals? Because guess what? Without relationships, there's no business. Without appointments, there's no business. And so what are you doing to focus on that? And not only your action steps, but what are your skills? What do you need to learn to help you get to the next level? You know, what's really fascinating is when I first got in the business, and I've told this story before, I literally was at the worst financial position that I had ever been. And there was only one thing that mattered at the time: relationships. I knew that I needed to create a sphere of influence. I needed to talk to a lot of people. I wasn't thinking about everything else at that time. I was only thinking about, how do I talk to a lot of people and how do I get people to like and trust me? And then I built upon that. You know, what's really fascinating is I didn't even learn how to do a listing agreement until I got my first listing appointment. I remember to this day that what happened was I was already cold calling for a few months while I was getting my license. And so I was building up some contacts and building up some opportunities. And I set my first listing appointment for the day after I was to take my state exam. Listen, I was going to do it. I was going to get it. I passed my state exam on the first day, and then I asked my broker, I said, listen, I need your help with a listing agreement. Just highlight all the spaces I need to fill out, and I'll get them to fill it out. And then, of course, I learned a little bit about how to do a listing appointment. But you guys, like, what are the most important actions and what are the skills? And here's the other interesting thing is that you learn faster by doing it. You'll get better by doing it. You know what? Listen, in real estate, I'm here to tell you, you're probably going, if you're brand new, you're going to suck in the beginning. You're not going to be good. You're not going to know what to say, how to say it, what questions to ask. But how are you going to get better if you don't practice, if you don't try it? You know, I really love this saying. People like to say practice makes perfect. That's not true. Practice doesn't make perfect because perfection doesn't exist. Practice makes permanent. What you practice becomes permanent. And what's permanent is what helps you grow and get better. And so really be thinking about the actions and skills. How are you doing there? Third is, my financial success matches the time and effort I put into my business. This is huge. How are you guys doing 0 to 10 there? Time and effort. This takes time. You have to stay consistent. Real estate is a front-end loaded business. That means that everything that you do over the next 6 to 12 months, you're not going to truly see the results in that for 6 to 12 months afterwards. And so you've got to put in the time, consistent time every single day. You know, we're going to go through knowing your numbers here in a little bit. And to kind of help you explain something, at the end of this, you're going to have the option to download our free gold spreadsheet. We're going to give it to you for free. It's totally cool. You can use it to help you plan out and know your numbers for your specific goal. But I'm here to tell you one thing is that this is a 2-year plan. Whatever number you put in for the next 12 months, what I've seen, and this is on a small percentage of people, is that the people that actually follow this and hit their numbers, they almost guarantee the numbers the next year. We can't guarantee anything, but I've never seen anybody not do this for 12 months straight and then hit their target 12 months later. And I might talk about that a little bit later, but it's fascinating how that works. Time and effort. How much effort are you going to put in? Are you going to show up? Are you going to invest your time on social media, meaning doing non-work related things? Or are you going to pick up your phone and call? Are you going to knock on the doors? Are you going to put in the effort that's necessary for you to hit the numbers that you need to hit that financial goal? How are you doing right now with your time and effort? And I want to repeat this because I want to remind you something else. My financial success matches the time and effort I put into my business. Guess what? So does your financial failure. Your financial failure also matches the time and effort you're putting into your business. So think about that for a minute. The next is, I am getting paid what I deserve. This is huge. You're getting paid exactly what you deserve based on the time and effort you put in. If you're getting a lot of 4, 5s, and 6s out of these 0 to 10, I want to help you guys understand something, is that the process of moving this forward, of getting better, is to ask yourself, how do I take that 5 to a 6? How do I take that 6 to a 7? See, we're not asking ourselves powerful questions. We're not looking at exactly what we need to do to help us break through. This is so important and such a powerful thing. I feel comfortable that I'm doing my best to take care of those I'm financially responsible for. You know, it's interesting. It's not always why we're doing it, but a lot of times it's who are you doing it for? You know, this is not an easy journey. If you're just getting started, or you're creating new momentum, or you're trying to create new habits, I'm here to tell you it's not going to be easy. It will be a challenge. You're breaking old habits, old patterns. That's why the time is so important. You know, a lot of people say it takes about 60, 62 days to change a habit. Some say 21. I like 90 because 90 solidifies it. You do something for 90 days, guess what? It's not going to be hard anymore. Just think back at all the different things that you've learned that were hard at one point. Did you ever learn to ride a bike? Did you fall down at first? Right? Did you ever learn to drive a car? Maybe you were nervous at front. There's so many different things that you can look back in your life and say, you know what? This was really hard at first, but now it's easy. You don't even think about it. Well, it's time to face your hard. It's time to face the truth. And let's take your scores and ramp them up and help you actually hit the numbers, but you got to know what they are first. And so, who are you doing this for? Who do you need to wake up and get to the gym for? Who do you need to get up and do the work you need to so that you can add more finances, add more opportunities to you and your family? Huge question. So, out of those 0 to 10, how are you doing? You guys, this is about the vision. It's about where do you want to go? It's about what do you want to achieve? What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? But let's get into knowing your numbers because that's why you're here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to earn over 6 figures in real estate. Like I said, you can take this spreadsheet and you can do it for $250,000, $500,000, $1 million. Wherever you are in your business, you can utilize this. I did this to help me do over 20 million in sales at one point. I had a larger one to help my company do almost 100 million in sales when I had my own business. You can utilize this for any of those factors, but guess what? You have to use it. If you don't use it, it doesn't work. And if you don't stick with it, it doesn't work. Are you the kind of person that sticks with it? Or are you the kind of person that quits? Are you the kind of person that probably already stopped watching this video, right? You got to keep going. You got to believe. You got to have hope. So let's talk about some numbers for a second. I'm going to pull it up real quick here. Cool. So as I go through this, I just want you to pay attention. I'm going to teach you how to use this and what numbers matter most. Now, you can change almost any of the numbers on here. There's green numbers and blue numbers. The green numbers you can change. Just don't change that GCC number because you'll break you'll break the system. Now, we're going to start with how many months out of the week or how many months out of the year do you work? Well, there's 12 months out of the year. So we've got 12. But I'm a big fan of taking time off. You know, it's actually interesting. There's a lot of real estate agents that when I'm like, you got to take time off, they look at me like I'm crazy. Listen, when I go on vacation, I don't answer my phone. I set it up for success so that I can go and enjoy. I had a client ruin one of my vacations. I say I allowed them to ruin it. I had one client that it was like, it really disrupted our trip. And ever since then, I said, anytime we go on an extended vacation, I'm turning my phone off. You have the choice. You have the control. And so for this, I have it set up for you to have 6 weeks off of work, right? We got holidays, you got 3-day weekends, you got vacations. You need to take time off. So this is based on you working 46 weeks out of the year. This is based on an average commission of 3%. Depending on when you're watching this, maybe it's higher, maybe it's lower, but you can make the adjustment based on the area that you live in, right? The market's different in all the cities. And so you'll be able to adjust this based on what your averages are. The next part is the commission split. Again, depending on what company you're with, this will vary and change. A lot of places right now have caps, right? I mean, we currently work at LPT Realty. So if you came on as a rev share partner, there's an 80-20% cap. That's about 6 figures in income. So we're going to leave this at 80%. When I was at eXp Realty, mine was at 95% because of how much business that I did. Okay. There's a lot of different factors we can go on there. Now, the next part is that below that, you can see that we have conversion ratios. Now, just give me a second. We're going to get back to conversion ratios in a second. But right here, based on $300,000. So this is based on a $300,000 house. If you want to sell $300,000 houses and you want to make over 6 figures, you're going to have to do 4.5 million in sales, which is 15 homes. 15 homes. The reason I pause there is because do you think it's possible to sell just a little bit more than one house a month? I think it's extremely possible. When I coach brand new agents, I actually tell them your goal is to sell 12 homes within your first year. You know, people look at this 6-figure mark. A lot of people do, and they're like, holy cow, I don't know if I can make 6 figures. 15 homes, one house a month. Now, there's a mindset to this. There's a strategy to why we do this the way we do, because when your subconscious in your mind knows what it needs to go after, it gives you ideas, it gives you thoughts, it gives you clear understanding so that when you wake up and you focus on these numbers, it's going to help you do what you need to do. Now, check this out. So based on conversion ratios here, and again, this is depending upon your skill level. If you're brand new, if you're experienced, right? If you're doing $1 million in gross close commission per year, your conversion ratios are probably higher. If you're brand new, your conversion ratios are going to be lower. This is based on if you, the percentage of seller leads that lead to a listing appointment. So if you get 10 seller leads, how many of them turn into a listing appointment over a year? We've got 20% on here, so 2 out of 10. How many listing appointments turn into listings? Now, if you go on 10 listing appointments and you get 5, that's a 50% conversion ratio. This is based on 50. Some people, again, are better. Some people are not going to be as good. And then the percentage of listings that actually close, we've got it high right now because of the market. It's at 90%. Buyer leads. How many buyer leads turn into an appointment? Now I have 10%. A quick little tip. If you're paying for internet leads, the average is 1 to 4% over 12 months. So depending again on where your leads are coming from will depend on the conversion ratio. How many times do you take someone out in order for them to purchase? So what is the percentage of buyer appointments to buyer contract? I have that at 50% as well, which means that when you put somebody in your car and you drive, if you take them out 2 different days, they're going to buy a house. Again, the conversion ratios depend on you. And we have a closing ratio of 90%. Now, depending on the market, this used to be 70%. There used to be a 70% close ratio. Again, I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you because, one, it's just the truth, but I want you to understand that these kind of things do change. They adjust. They do make a difference. Okay, so now the good stuff. Now, what are those numbers that are most important? So here are the numbers that make the biggest difference. This is all about the relationship process, the process to getting paid. You want to get paid then you need closings. You want closings, you need contracts. You want contracts, you need appointments. You need appointments, you need relationships. How many relationships do you have? Those are the numbers that are most important when it comes to your real estate business. This spreadsheet, this goal setting tool tells you exactly what those numbers are based on the conversion ratios. Check this out. So if you want to earn over 6 figures a year based on these numbers, then it looks like you need about 23 new relationships every month. That's 23 leads, right? 23 leads from any source, from your cell phone, from social media, from paid, free, people you made out. I don't care. It's whoever goes into your CRM. And you need 3 appointments per week. That's less than 1 appointment a week. You know, I always tell people, like, when you wake up on Monday, if you made it a goal to just go on 1 appointment a week, and you went on 1 appointment a week for 46 weeks, and you improved and you grew, guess what? You'd be earning over 6 figures a year. It's fascinating, isn't it? The numbers don't lie. And until you actually sit and do this for 12 months, you can't even convince me otherwise, because guess what? I did this for years in my business. So it looks like you need 8 listing agreements signed and you need 9 buyer agreements signed. That's 17 contracts. Do you believe it's possible for you to get 17 contracts per year? Of course it's possible. And so these are the numbers. This generates the numbers for you. But the question is, what do you do with it? So whatever lead sources you do, and we've got a lot of other trainings to kind of help dive deeper into relationships and contracts and how to do all that. This is purely just focusing on the numbers so that every single week you can track and measure. Now, the other cool part of this is that it includes a tracking tool. This tracking tool allows you at the end of each week to plug in these numbers so that at the end of each quarter, you can look and see how you're doing. Now, what's really fascinating about this was in 2020, I was using a new system and I was really excited about this system. I was getting a lot of listing appointments and I was going up to other real estate agents. And quite honestly, at the time, I was like, I'm going to crush these guys. Well, my ego was put into check because I was going on lots of appointments. I actually just looked at the numbers this morning at that year. And in Q1, I went on 17 listing appointments in the first quarter and I only got 3. Listen, I was like, what is going on here? This doesn't make any sense. Well, guess what? Because I tracked my numbers and because I knew I was getting the listing appointment, I was going on the listing appointments, and I was getting great feedback, there was still something missing. And so I went all in. I learned everything about my competition. I improved my listing presentation. I improved the way that I spoke. I worked really diligently. And then in the next quarter, I had about 15 or 16 appointments and I got 7. And then the next quarter, Q3, I got 16 listings out of 17. I looked at the numbers this morning. Fascinating. But how would I have really known what to do if I wasn't tracking, right? I was losing hundreds of thousands of dollars at the time because my listing appointment wasn't as good as another agent. At the end of that year, I was closing over 85% of all the business in our area coming from that lead source. It's because of this one tool that helped me track and measure exactly what my numbers were. I hope you understand the value of the goal spreadsheet to help you know exactly what numbers matter the most. But here's what I know. I know that the struggle is real, right? It's not easy. You've got to ask yourself powerful questions. And so I have a question for you. What is stopping you? What's stopping you from doing the work? What's stopping you from putting in the time? What's stopping you from learning? Well, it's probably you. But what is your biggest financial struggle right now? The reason we're going to talk about these struggles is because you have to define them. You have to get them out. You have to write them on paper. Because if you continue to focus on improving every struggle and every challenge, that's how you are able to move up the ladder. That's how you're able to go from 30,000 a year to 60,000 a year to 120,000 a year to 250 a year. You know, one of the interesting things in real estate is that once you create momentum, it's actually pretty simple to double your business every year by just making small adjustments and doing the right thing over and over and over again. But we got to create that momentum, and we got to learn how to face those challenges. The second is how much debt do you have? You know, debt is a really tough thing, right? When you have financial struggles, and I know a lot of you do, when you're not thinking about how much money you need to make. You know, as a brand new agent, I always tell people, how long can you go until you run out of money? You know, that's a really legitimate question. And so we want to help you grow financially as you're growing through this, to help you learn, what do you do with your finances? You know, there's 3 really powerful numbers here. 1 is your break-even number, 2 is your comfortable number, and then there's the dream number. We got to help you get to that break-even number. That number is the number that you need to just survive, to pay your bills, to pay for gas, pay for rent, pay for mortgage, pay for food. What do you absolutely need each month? The next number is that comfortable number, and that's usually 2 times. So if your monthly number is $4,000, then your comfortable is $8,000. And that means that you can go out and have dinner when you want. You can buy clothes when you want. You can do more things and you're comfortable. I don't know about you, but it's that dream number. It gets me really excited. And that's 5 times your break-even number. Now, here's the thing is, as you grow, your break-even number will grow with you. And so for those of you who are already killing it and crushing it, making it 2, 3, 4, 500,000 a year, what's next? Let's double that number. Let's get excited about knowing our numbers, because one of the reasons that you're stuck, one of the reasons that you're stagnant, one of the reasons that you keep doing the same amount of business every year is because you don't know your numbers. It's because you don't track and measure those numbers and improve the areas and adjust the areas that you need to do. You keep throwing money at things. You keep throwing money at this system and throwing money at this system. Whatever you commit to for at least 6 months. And then check what the numbers are at the end of that. And the third question is, really define, what does financial freedom look and feel like to you? I really like the word feel here, because I love the question is, what would it feel like if your wish was already realized? What would it feel like if you were already successful? What would that life look like? Because remember what I said? You got to figure out where you want to be, but then you got to become that person. Start feeling like that person. Start living like that person. And you put yourself one step closer to actually realizing that dream. Now, we talked about clarity, growth, and success. We talked about clarity. Where do you want to be? What's the vision? We did some growth. We talked about, what do you need to learn? Who do you need to become? Now, what are you going to do about it? Success takes work, and nothing happens until you take action. So commit for the next 12 months to knowing your numbers. Commit to tracking them. In 12 months, I promise you, you'll be reaching out thanking me that you did it. But here's one thing that I know, is that I know you're not going to be consistent. Are you going to accept the challenge? Are you willing to be consistent? Because guess what? Only 3 to 5% of you are. And so if you truly want to set yourself apart, you got to be consistent. It's just like the YouTube channel, right? How often are we posting videos? Consistently. It's because it adds up. It's the same thing in your real estate business. If you're consistently having conversations, you will consistently earn opportunities to close more business. And so I'm going to give you just one fun thing, is that you have 2 challenges that, if you choose to accept, to do right after this. 1, fill out your goal setting spreadsheet. Pick the number that you want and then add a stretch goal to that. So if your number is, you want to make $100,000 a year, I highly suggest that you add 20, 30% to that, so that you stretch yourself, you push yourself. Because here's the thing is, if you eventually want to get to that number, you're going to eventually have to do those numbers. So you might as well start now. Do your absolute best. And the other challenge is I challenge you to have at least 25 real estate conversations this week. At least 25. Can you have 5 real estate conversations a day? Because you know what's really interesting is the majority of agents don't even do that. So if you want to set yourself apart, then do the work. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Be sure to click the button below, get your free goal setting spreadsheet, and let us know what your number is. Let us get excited with you because I would love to know what your target is. I would love to know what you're going to do to take your real estate business to the next level. And again, thank you guys so much.